Hello, I'm a woman in my 30s who could have lived unhappily from getting married. When I got married, I heard that people of similar levels should get married in order to live in harmony, and even bad sons turn into good sons when they get married. Just as others would when they hear those words. I thought those didn't apply to my husband. Thinking about it now makes me feel embarrassed enough to make my face turn red. But at that time, I don't know why I trusted my husband so much that I feel like a fool. Before we got married, my husband was devoted to me while we were dating, and with a little exaggeration, he cared for me as if I was the only woman for him in this world. The only negative thing about him was that he could not earn more money than me, but I never thought much of it while we dated for 4 years, because he was very kind and so detail-oriented. Actually, I have a very unfriendly personality, so whenever men approached me, it wasn't long before we broke up because they couldn't put up with my personality. But my husband accepted me as I was despite my personality and loved me, so of course, I thought we were a perfect match made in heaven. The reason for my negative personality was because of how I grew up. I was the oldest daughter in the family without a father and in poverty. My father passed away when I was young from a heart attack. My mom had to raise me and my sister, who was 3 years younger than I was, all by herself. Even when my dad was alive, our financial situation wasn't good, but added with my dad's hospital bills, my mom's responsibility to deal with so much debt alone was endless. In order to pay off the bills, my mom had to work day and night, and because I was the oldest daughter, I couldn't dream of staying as a child and help my mom by being responsible for my younger sister. A little patience, I matured fast. I was wary that other people might look down on our family, especially my younger sister, and being critical became a habit and affected my personality while I was growing up. My mom understood me, though, and always felt sorry for me. Even though we were struggling financially, my mom encouraged me to study hard and go to college so that I could do whatever I wanted. But knowing better, I just accommodated her by saying I would, but inside, I tried hard not to do anything that would cost money. Then a small incident happened because of a school field trip. Hannah, this is money for your school field trip. I heard that you told your homeroom teacher that you weren't going on your school field trip. Yes, did my teacher call you? I told her not to tell you. You fool. Would that work just to tell your teacher? Your friend Mary's mom called me and told me that you weren't going. You didn't tell me on purpose because of money. Money, right? Well, because it's so expensive. That's our 1 week's grocery money. Hannah, do you know what makes me feel so bad? I know, it's my worrying about money. That's right, you're still a child. You don't need to worry about that. No one will criticize you for being innocent as a child. In this case, you can just ask me for money, and it's okay to say that you want to go. No, I don't want to go. I know how much you're suffering, so how can I say that? I want to grow up fast, so I could get a job to earn money as soon as possible. But only then, you will suffer less. I don't agree with you. As I told you always, you must go to college. It's enough that I have a hard life alone. I want you and your sister, Lisa, to go to a good college and get good jobs and live happily without worrying about money. That's my wish. So you shouldn't be thinking about money all the time. Like other kids, you should enjoy and study. No matter how much debt there is, do you think I couldn't come up with your tuition? Still, if you continue like that, I will really become angry. Without your dad, you guys are all I... As I took out the money from our savings, do you know how much I cried? I wonder what kind of mother I was to make my daughter worry so much about me. Okay. I'm sorry. I will go on our school field trip, and I will also study hard and go to college. As you wish. I will graduate from a good college and get a good job. So please don't cry, Mom. Please. Are you sure? Do you promise? Yes, I told you I will. Here, cross my heart. I promise. That was how my mom raised us. We were poor, but she made us study. But I hated to see our mom sad, so I dedicated myself to study as hard as I could, as if my life depended on it. If I were going to study, I wanted to get a scholarship to go to college and make my mom happy and save money. So, I reduced my sleep to increase my studying hours and practically memorized all my textbooks. As a result, I got a full scholarship to enter an Ivy League college. With the same efforts, while other students were having parties and going on vacation trips. I only studied, never missed getting scholarships, and graduated with honors. This before even I graduated. I already got a job offer from a large corporation, and I was finally able to make money to help my family. Soon, our family's standard of living started to improve, and the happiness I felt then was immense. On the other hand, there was strange emptiness. I was very happy that my mom's life became comfortable and my sister could go to college without worrying about money, but I wondered if I must live like this. Then my friends introduced me to some guys and I started to date. I thought if I dated, However, for me, dating was harder than studying. Emotions between a man and a woman are not expressed frankly. On top of that, my personality wasn't a very friendly type, and my priority wasn't in dating but in my work, and before my work in my family. So, my relationship with a guy didn't last 3 months. However, my husband catered everything to me. He said it was okay even though I canceled our date at the last minute because of my work, or when he wanted to do something. But if I said I didn't like it, he would readily accept it. At first, I thought he had some ulterior motive to just cater to my whims because he was so different from the other guys I had met. But when I became suspicious of him and pushed him away, he would cling to his Ashmel even more. It was my first time to be wanted so much, which shook me up. And as time passed on, it was me who started to like him more and cling to him. I met my husband by accident nearby my work. His work was located nearby my work. I worked for a large corporation, but my husband worked for a small startup company. He said that he was making some applications for mobile phones, Since his work was close by, we happened to run into each other often during lunch hours or company outings at the same location. You might think me strange if I say this, but I like you. What? Me? Yes, at first. I noticed you because of your pretty eyes, and we keep bumping into each other at the same places, and I started to like you. How would you know what kind of person I am? And what if I had a boyfriend? How could you say that? I know. I guess I'm out of my mind. But if I don't tell you today, I thought I wouldn't be able to sleep again. It's my first time to be like this, but do you really have a boyfriend? Etchin, when I think about how he looked at that time, it still makes me chuckle. Even though he's someone that I want to erase from my life, at least at that time, he was very innocent. After receiving unexpected confession from him, and with enthusiastic cheering from both my colleagues and his co-workers, we had a few dates. At first, I went out to see him out of curiosity, but whenever I saw him, he treated me as if I was a queen. Although I was very suspicious of him before I knew it, I fell for him. We dated for 4 years, and he was always the same. I started to think about getting married, which would be unheard of for me, and because his family and my family had a lot of similarities, we naturally proceeded to get married. My husband's mother got divorced, and until we got married, he lived with his mom and his younger brother, who was 4 years younger than him. He and I were both the eldest, so we were able to communicate well. We knew each other's feelings well as we understood each other, but after we got married, those feelings started to change steadily. I trusted my husband that no such thing would. Unexpectedly, a married couple would become distanced over minor things. Honey, I think I should have my own business. Why don't you like your current job? My company is not like a big corporation like yours. We have 2 different thoughts on doing things. I don't like the way my company is going, and I don't think it will become profitable. If the company shuts down, then I would become unemployed, so I might as well leave now and do what I want to do. So, since your company has a lot of benefits, is it possible to take out a loan? What? I got a loan when we bought this house because I had better credit. Yet get another loan for your business. You just get the loan, but I will take care of all the payments. My business idea is really great. If I start, there is already someone willing to invest. It's the truth. My husband explained his business, and although I couldn't write all of them down, I felt very negative about his business. However, he kept painting a golden future, saying that it will be a hit. I'm sorry, but even though I know little about business, I don't think it will work. Why don't we think more seriously while you continue working? Running a business is not that easy. To pay off this house loan, it is already a burden. Unlike my personality, I patiently tried to persuade my husband. At that time, we got a 2,000 square feet townhouse in a luxury large complex nearby our work, and making payments was very difficult. That it wasn't in my name, but it was my husband who said to buy it. Our monthly expenses were large, including making a house loan payment of nearly $2,000 with association fees and fixed expenses, along with our living expenses. If my husband quit his job, I would have to deal with all those expenses alone, so I couldn't go along with my husband's plans. But because of that, my husband got upset and his attitude changed. I thought as time went by, he would understand. Answers. Mother's Day came along. In truth, after we returned from our honeymoon, there was a little conflict with my mother-in-law. I bought a luxury brand of makeup set at the duty-free shop, but my mother-in-law didn't like the gift. Hey, when you've grown up poor, why do you spend money on useless things like this? Why buy expensive makeup when it's all the same to put on the face? Mom, Hannah bought it thinking of you. She doesn't even use expensive makeup. I say, so why is she spending your money like that? I bought that with my own money, but she thought that I bought it with her son's money and kept repeating that I spent her son's money. So, I gave her the money gift envelope that I had prepared in advance and said, "You won't be too upset. Give that back to me, and I will get a refund or use it as a gift to someone else." What? Look at her. Why are you taking it back after giving it? Thank you for the money gift. So what I'm saying is that this is better rather than spending money on useless things. Just give me the money. Isn't much easier? It's good for you and good for me. Son, thank you for the money. What? James, what about me, your only brother? I feel hurt. Kiana, I'm hurt. John, I have one for you. A necktie. You're preparing for the civil service exam. Looking weird when you go to work. Oh, okay. I also prefer cash. As a student, I have a lot to spend money on. Hey bro, I got cash for you. I was going to give it to you quietly later, but you should be patient. Really? I was disappointed thinking there was no money for me. Thank you. James, Tina, I will wear the tie. In retrospect, I still feel very offended. It was dawning that the whole family was so obsessed with money and inconsiderate of other people's gift for them. It was more upsetting when my husband came to my mom's house after the honeymoon, when my husband, who even got spending money for his younger brother, was empty-handed when he came to see my mom. He had no gifts, not even money gifts. So, I handed my mom a gift in an envelope of cash gift, as if my husband had prepared for her, but he didn't look sorry about it. My sister was also preparing for the teacher's certification exam, but he didn't even give her any money as a gift, and I felt hurt because of that. So, when the Mother's Day came around, I wondered how my husband would do. I didn't want to be scolded by his mom, so I didn't buy any flowers and just prepared an envelope of cash as her gift. She said with her own mouth that she didn't want me to buy anything, and she preferred cash. So I thought I would put that much more money into the envelope. However, people's greed is endless. When I gave her just the envelope, she didn't look that happy. And she complained, "Oh, what kind of life do I have? Everyone gets flowers on Mother's Day, but I don't even get one." You have no sense. Why are you empty-handed on a day like this? Mother, you told me not to spend money on buying useless things, and you preferred cash. Hey, of course cash is better, but if you're going to give it, why couldn't you give like everyone else? Did I ask for a house or an expensive luxury brand handbag? Us are all mothers-in-law like that, to be so shameless? How could she openly demand that? I wasn't very happy about it in the first place, and to get scolded again. I felt lousy. Right then, my husband, who told me he would come late due to work, came in with such a large bouquet that it was hard to hold it with... It's hard to hold it with his two hands. Oh my, it's only my son who thinks of me. How beautiful. I will take a picture of this and brag about it. Thank you, son. I'm so happy. I'm glad you like it, Mom. Hannah, when did you come? I tried to come as soon as possible. I'm not too late, am I? Let's all go out. I will buy us some steaks. When I saw my husband being so generous to his family, I was expecting the same for my family. I didn't think he only bought the flowers for his mother. However, when I got a text message from my mom, I blew off from feeling very offended. He sent an embarrassingly tiny little basket of flowers to my mom when he bought such an enormous size of bouquet for his mother. Hannah, your husband sent this. I'm so happy to receive my first flowers from my son-in-law. Tell him I said thank you. You go to your in-laws today, and let's get together over the weekend. I will cook something delicious and wait for you guys. The more my mother-in-law smiled, the more I fumed. So on purpose, I bought an even larger flower-sour bouquet than my mother-in-law's and put it in the car on our way to the restaurant. His mother nagged me, asking why I was buying such an expensive flower bouquet. But because I was angry, I blurted out on the way home. I wanted to give it to my mom. It's Mother's Day for my mom too. Wait. When you only gave me money, yet you're buying flowers for your mother, aren't you? Penny, I sent your mom a flower basket. Yeah, I saw it. That's why I'm buying this, because it was so small in comparison. Oh, I'm sorry. Because it's Mother's Day, it was so expensive. I'm sorry. James, why should you be sorry? Hey, Hannah, do you need to say so mean like that? When I look at you, you're so narrow-minded. Why couldn't you be understanding of your husband, who couldn't buy it because it was so expensive? Yes, if it were me, I would make one bouquet a little smaller to make it the same size, but I can't understand my husband who sends what looked noticeably different. I think if I remain here, it will only cause more friction. Jick. So since your son is taking you out, go and enjoy your steak. I will go home and eat with my family. I left behind my bewildered mother-in-law and got into my car. Only then my husband realized what he did wrong and came after me. But I already left, and he kept calling me, but I didn't answer his phone calls. Hannah, didn't you say you were going to your mother-in-law's house? And why did you buy another flower? Take it, Mom. I also wanted to give my mom a large flower basket. And let's go out and eat something delicious. Why did you come without calling? I already ate with your sister. Etchins, we had a barbecue. a barbecue. Hannah, shocks agree. Don't say only. I spent some money to buy them. My sister Lisa complained. Then grill some meat for me too. I'm hungry after getting upset. Hannah, did you get upset again? See, Mom? I told you not to send that picture to Hannah. Did you really come here because of that picture? I sent it because I appreciated it. Oh, while I was there, things got wired up. I told you before that I don't like my mother-in-law. Still, how can you say that about your mother-in-law? Oaks only for tonight. Even kings receive criticism from their people when they are not around. How bad it must have been for me to bring this and come tonight. I'm your daughter, so you shouldn't scold me tonight. I was acting childishly when I had never acted like that when I was young. It was true that I acted more like a baby in front of my mom after I got married. If it were going to be like this, I would have never gotten married. That day, I regretted so much that I got married, but such my action did have some effect on my husband. When I returned home, he was already there. He even knelt in front of me and begged for my forgiveness, saying that he was short-sighted. That because of my negative personality, perhaps it was only then my anger subsided somewhat. Honey, I won't do that anymore. I will treat your mom and my mom the same. When I saw you this morning, you didn't seem to buy flowers for my mom. But you know how my mom is. Because I thought of you. I bought a big one on purpose. I didn't know that you would feel hurt over that. I feel too tacky to say like this, but it seems you only pay attention to your family. But before, you gave money to your brother, but you didn't give anything to my mom or my sister. That's because my brother is studying for an exam. So is my sister. I'm sorry. I didn't think of it. Since you earn more money than I do, I thought I should do it according to my budget. Why do you bring up who earns more here? Now that the talk has come up, let me say something too. You tell me to pay the household expenses by half, but when you earn $4,000 and I earn $3,000, if I pay half, then where would I have extra money? I also have a lot of bills, like my credit card payments, my phone bills, and my student loans. I didn't know. I knew that he was earning $3,000 a month, but I had been paying for everything and I wasn't telling him to take allowances. But when he said he had no money, I was very surprised. But something more surprising was waiting for me. My husband didn't even tell me and he just quit his job on his own. Are you crazy? I told you before. What about the house loan payments and our household expenses? Pay in one lump sum. Just pay for me for a few months. You earn a lot more money better than I can do. Still, how could you? Honestly, the title of this house is in your name and you are paying the loan payments. I will save by not using electricity or water too much. And I will just eat one meal a day. Does that make any sense? If Cedric survived from his job, he would get money from the unemployment insurance, and he'd leave voluntarily. I couldn't say anything, even though I had a lot of things to say. I will start my business with money against my retirement fund, so I won't cause any harm to you. I'm very certain, so you should trust me and just wait. I could only sigh since it was already water under the bridge. I could only pray that his business would go well so that it wouldn't cause any problems. 6 months later, I got a good opportunity to be in charge of a very important project. If I was successful with it, I would be promoted with a higher salary, so I devoted myself to it as if my life depended on it. I was desperate for money, so I couldn't go home due to overtime and worked even during the weekend. But one day, I came home exhausted to find the house in a mess. My husband only ate instant noodles and left the empty dishes all over the table and in the sink. Because he didn't do the laundry, he went to work with the same clothes he wore for days, and he was working on his business in an office that he could rent cheaply from a government assistance program. Then, I felt sorry for my husband. It must have been uncomfortable for him, but he never complained to me. So I took a vacation after the project was over and stayed home to clean up, do the laundry, and go to the supermarket to do grocery shopping to make something delicious for my husband. I was imagining having a nice dinner with my husband and went out to the checkout stand to pay, but the clerk said that my joint check card was refused. I was shocked and said it couldn't be, and she repeated swiping the card, but it was invalid. So I had to pay it with my personal card and went directly to an ATM to check the balance, and sure enough, it had no balance left. It was only a week ago. I had deposited over $2,000 into our joint checking account. I was flabbergasted. On top of that, the house payment is automatically withdrawn from this account, but no matter how many times I checked, there was no record of any withdrawal. I had a bad feeling about it. I went to the bank and asked for a statement copy. When I deposited $2,000, the next day, my husband had cashed it out. The bank said, "We sent you text messages whenever the balance was low. Didn't you see it? In fact, due to non-payment, we are in the process of auctioning off your house." I didn't see any text messages. Wait then. I remembered once when I came out of the bathroom, my husband was looking at my phone and was startled to see me. I now suspected that he had been checking my phone and erasing the messages from the bank. I couldn't believe it. I was so furious and immediately went to his workplace. "Honey, what are you doing here? Aren't you supposed to be at work at this time? Tell me the truth. Where did you spend the money from our checking account?" "Oh, I'm sorry, but I needed to spend money somewhere urgently, so I spent it." "Urgent? How urgent was it that you used the money that was for the house loan payment? Our house is now attached to be auctioned off. Where did you spend the money? You told me you wouldn't cause any harm to me, but did you do your business with the money?" "No, that it just did once recently." "That was recently? Then for the past 3 months, where did you spend it? Are you having an affair? How dare you say that about me?" "I gave it to my mom." "Did you give it to your mom?" "She hurt her back 3 months ago and can't work. My brother is not working, so they had no money and called me for some household expenses. So you took that money to pay for their household expenses. What could I do? My mom and brother are penniless. If your mom couldn't work because she got hurt, she gets the workman's comp money, doesn't she? She's not a full-time employee, so how could she get the money? Soon, I will get my product out, so wait a little while. Even if our house gets auctioned off, I will buy you a better house. So just think that you're paying the house loan and paid $2,000 a month for my family. Please, you make good money, don't you? Ever mind if you can't. You should tell her how could you say that. My brother will take the exam soon, so he said he would pass it this time, and he would take care of it until then. Please let me act as the oldest son of my family, couldn't you? I can't believe it. Why do you want to act like the eldest son of your family with someone else's money? Do you think I'm rich and that's why I've been covering for you all this time? Now that you created this whole mess yourself, I've been putting up with it despite so much difficulty. So how could you demand even more from me like that? So what? Why did I quit my job? It's all because of you. It's because you're better than me. Everyone teases me that I'm lucky to have a wife who earns a lot more money than me. So don't I have any pride? That's why I ended up like this. So you are responsible too. He got all angry with me like that. When he blamed me, I couldn't believe it. Since I couldn't let the house be auctioned off, my mom broke her savings and came to the rescue. But I felt so sorry when I had never asked for any help from my mom. I felt even more resentful toward my husband. I'm sorry. I didn't know James was that shameless person. I want to get divorced. Tana, I'm on your side no matter what decisions you make. But your husband must have been suffering being in the middle. It must have been hard to ignore his family when he had no ability. Still, this isn't it. We almost lost the house without my knowing anything about it. He must have learned a lot this time. If your mother-in-law finds out about it, wouldn't she be nicer to you? Anyhow, it has been resolved. But the money you saved is all gone. It's not gone. When I think that I got a house for my daughter, then it's okay. When you got married, I didn't spend any money. So I will consider that money was for that. I don't want it. I'm going to pay back. So please wait, okay? Okay, you can take your time to pay me back. I'm earning money and your sister will work as a teacher. Then you won't have to worry about us. All right. Lisa's exam is next month, isn't it? I haven't been able to pay any attention. She's my daughter too. I'm paying attention and caring for her. And you are now a married person, so you think of your new family and forget about this old family. I want you to live happily. My husband should appreciate how my mother thought of him. But my husband, after he got found out, acted more belligerently toward me. After that incident, I changed my bank account. Hey, give me $1,000. I will pay you back. Never mind. You've been taking money out behind my back and thousands of dollars. So what can I do? My mom has no money for the doctor. I don't know. You go out and get a job as a driver, or have your brother go out and work and take care of your family on your own. You're so mean. How will you look at me when I become successful and make a lot of money? You don't need to worry. I will worry about my own, so just become successful. My husband thought I was disrespecting him, and he wouldn't come home, and even when he was at home, he wouldn't say a word to me. Then his brother took the first part of the civil service exam, and my husband got all proud and asked me to go to his mother's house. He said he was certain that this time his brother had passed it, but the result was not as my husband had hoped. The moment we entered the house, the atmosphere in the house was as if it was a mortuary. However, I became the victim of their demise. This is all because the wrong woman came into our family. I heard that you disrespect your husband just because you work for a large corporation, didn't you? No. Right, and I asked for some lousy amount of money for our family expenses, and did you refuse it? You're also a family member of this household, but you must not think so, right? The atmosphere at home is like this, so how can my son study for the exam properly? If your husband is running a business, you should give him a credit card to use and keep his spirits up. But you're so haughty and trample my son's pride, and what help is that for his business? So are you saying that's all my fault, right? Okay then, if I get a divorce from your son, everything will turn to normal, right? Honey, why are you saying that? My mom is just upset, so she's just saying it like that. Be silent. Are you saying that you have ruined my son's future and now you're going to break up? Then if you're going to leave my son, leave that house that's in your name. My son should get his alimony too. Alimony? You must not know, but the alimony is for the person who was harmed. Who was it that secretly stole money from the checking account? Why should I pay any alimony to him? The house that was almost auctioned off got saved because of my mom's money. Yet, are you demanding that house? You're shameless. Should we check with the law who should be getting the alimony? Honey, why are you like that? Don't get mad. I'm sorry. I can't break up with you. It's just my mom. What? You stupid fool. Do you want to live with someone who looks down on you like that? But what could I do when I have no money, Mom? You don't know my situation, so don't fight with her. I couldn't help but laugh when I heard my husband say that. The next day, I packed up my things with what I needed the most and went to my mom's house. Then I filed for a divorce by going to see a lawyer. When my husband got the divorce papers from the court, he came over to my mom's house and begged for my forgiveness, but I didn't want to see him any longer. He kept coming over for several days, but once he realized that he couldn't change my mind, he changed his face completely and said, I can't do this anymore. Okay, let's get divorced, but lend me some money. I'm not asking you to give it to me, but just lend it to me. I will write you an IU promissory note. If I win in court, you will have to pay me alimony. How could you ask me for money? Before I called the police, get out of my face. My husband showed me his ugly side to the end. Unseatly 2 TLs to the divorce took a long time, but because I had all the evidence, the case went in my favor. Without any property division, my husband had to pay me for my mental suffering, my ruined credit and money damages. Only then did his mother come to me and beg for my forgiveness, asking me to take care of her son. But I was appalled by their selfishness. Why didn't they act fairly in the first place? That they became greedy, and they got what they deserved in the end. After that, I rented out my house and lived with my mom. 2 years later, the house appreciated a lot, so I sold it and repaid my mom several times more than the money she spent to save my house. She declined the money, saying she didn't need it, but I knew how she earned that money, so I insisted. Later, she finally accepted it. She said she would use it when my sister got married. But, unlike someone, my sister passed her exam and is now teaching English at a middle school. She even has a boyfriend. Even though I experienced bitterness in my life, I hope that my sister will have a wonderful romantic life and be happy when she gets married. Since it's a small town, I heard rumors that my ex-husband's business failed and he is looking for a job. But I hope that I will never bump into him in this lifetime. Wait, I found my life again and I plan to work hard to have a happy ending this time. Then someday, I will have a happier life, won't I? Thank you for listening to my story. I hope your lives will have a happy ending too. Please cheer for me and share your words of wisdom in the comment sections. Liking and subscribing would be a big help to me. Have a wonderful day.